Hi, I'm Luke McIntosh, creator of becomeabassist.com, and in this lesson I'm going to share with you the #1 strategy for rapidly improving your playing. There's something you can do for yourself today, right now even, that's virtually guaranteed to improve your playing, whether you're a rank beginner or a seasoned professional. Now, it's not something like learning technical exercises or learning new scales or even getting better gear. The secret is simply recording yourself playing. This sounds a bit too simple, right? How can something as simple as recording yourself playing and listening back to it, how can that improve your playing? Well, think about it this way. Have you ever heard your voice on a video or a recording somewhere and thought, my voice doesn't sound like that, my voice sounds full and rich and velvety, but when you get to the recording, you find it actually sounds kind of thin and nasal and maybe even a little bit hollow. Now, this is because the sound that your voice makes actually vibrates your entire skull, and the sound kind of bounces around in a whole bunch of resonant chambers you have built into your head. But no one else can hear this. No one else's skull is vibrating when you speak. All everyone else hears is the sound that actually comes out of your mouth. The way you think you sound is not actually the way that you sound. A similar thing happens when you play bass, or in fact, any other instrument. The way you think you sound is not actually the way that you sound, especially if you're on a gig and the adrenaline's up. The way you actually sound might be completely different from the kind of reality of the situation. For example, I used to do this all the time. I'd record myself on gigs and think the gig went really well and really happy with my playing. I'd go back and listen to the recording and find out that I was rushing entire sections, or that my sound wasn't quite what I thought it was. But because I had this recording, I could go back, listen, and improve things for next time. The beauty of recording your playing is that it gives you a very tight, almost instant feedback loop where you can listen and instantly iterate things in your playing that you want to change. So for example, when I heard that I was rushing those sections, I'd make sure that I consciously relax on those sections and try to lay back in the beat. If my sound wasn't quite what I thought it was, I'd spend more time trying to figure out what sound would go well with the room and things like that. Sometimes just an awareness of a problem is enough to fix it, and that's what recording your playing gives you. It gives you that instant feedback. Now, for this to work, you don't need a ton of recording equipment. You don't need 6 pedals and preamps and a vintage desk to record into. You don't need any of that stuff. In fact, you can get away with just using your phone. Most smartphones have more than enough recording capabilities that you can use instantly, and they'll tell you exactly what you need to know. So now that you know exactly how useful and how important recording your playing is, how do you actually go about using the recordings to try and fix things within your playing? Well, there's 5 things I want to share with you right now that you can look for as you listen back to your recording. They're all quite closely related, but we're going to go through each of them individually. #1 is rhythm. Are you playing the right rhythms in the right order? So for example, if you're playing along with a recording and you're trying to match the rhythm of the bass drum, and the bass drum's going, are you playing that same thing? Are you going, yeah? If you're not, the recording is going to tell you that very, very quickly. If you're supposed to be playing a unison riff with a guitar player, are the rhythms lining up perfectly, or is there some discrepancy? Once again, the recording is going to tell you that very, very quickly. #2 is groove. Now, this is very much related to the rhythm side of things, but it's a bit more nuanced. So for example, are the long notes the right amount of long? Are the short notes the right amount of short? Are you connecting with all the different parts of the drum kit as well? These are all questions you can ask yourself. If we use that same example from before, yeah, assuming that's the right rhythm, see what happens when the notes all become long. Changes the groove, yeah? What if we make them all short, super stabby? Yeah, changes the groove completely. Now, that's not to say that either one of these is wrong, but you can experiment with the recording yourself and finding out what feels the best. Of course, if you're playing along with the recording, then try and match the recording as perfectly as you can. #3 is feel. Is the right kind of emotion on display? Does the song feel good? If it's a kind of driving, straight ahead hard rock song, are we getting that kind of driving, solid feeling? If you're playing a ballad, does it make you want to cry? If you're playing a funk song, does it make you want to dance? The emotion here is very, very important. And once again, the recording is going to tell you that very, very quickly when you listen back to yourself playing. #4, are notes. Are you playing all the correct notes? We talked about rhythm, we talked about groove and the feel. What about the notes? Obviously, they're very important as well. And once again, if you're listening back to a recording and there are dodgy notes, you're going to hear them very, very quickly. So, for example, if you're playing a unison part with a guitar player at a rehearsal or a gig, and you're playing different notes, you're going to have this kind of thing going on. You might have a something like that, and you're gonna notice it very, very quickly. This one's probably the easiest one to fix for most people. That's why it's kind of further down the list. Number 5 is sound. Are you getting a beautiful sound? Is your tone what it should be? Is it serving the song? For example, if you're playing a reggae song, you want a kind of deep, warm sound, and you're playing with more of a punk rock sound that's a little bit more tinny, then it's going to create some problems for the song, right? And once again, the recording is going to tell you this. I know I've said it a lot, but the recording is very, very important. So if you find that your sound is really thin, then you can mess with your settings and warm it up just a little bit. Just like that. A lot of these elements are things that you may not notice in the moment, but if you listen back to on the recording, it's going to be plain as day. That's why the recording is so, so important for that tight feedback loop. You can't always trust your ears in the moment when you're playing, but having a recording there is completely objective. It can't lie to you. And by the way, you can use this to record actual performances, you can record technical exercises that you're working on, you can record songs that you're working on along with recordings. There's no limit to what you can record yourself playing to use that tight feedback loop to improve. Now, when you go through this process of listening back to yourself on recording, there's 2 common traps that people fall into. The first one is that they hear themselves on the recording and they despair at how terrible they sound. They think the rhythms are all off, the sound's terrible, it doesn't feel right, the groove's all over the place. And it can be very easy to fall into this trap of being very hard on yourself. You run the very real risk of only hearing the bad things, the missed notes, the rhythms that were a fraction too late, the sound that isn't quite what you wanted. The other trap that you can fall into is the polar opposite, where you listen to your playing and think, yep, that's fantastic, it's perfect, I don't think I need to improve anything at all. Now, this is a lot less common because the best musicians can always find something to improve in their playing, but this does pop up every once in a while. The truth of the matter is that it's somewhere in the middle. If you think your playing is just absolutely terrible, it's probably not as bad as you initially think it was. And if you think your playing's absolutely immaculate, absolutely perfect, there's probably at least something in there that could do with a little bit of tweaking to take it to that next level. When you're going through and listening to your playing, try and come at it from an objective point of view. Imagine you were critiquing your best friend's playing. What would you say to them? You probably wouldn't say that that was terrible, the rhythms were awful, this didn't feel right, blah, 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 blah. You probably wouldn't do that. You'd probably start with the things that you did like and then gradually transition into the things that could do with a little bit of improvement. Be kind to yourself and do the same thing as you go through and critique your own playing. You want to start with the things that you're really proud of, things that were quite good about the playing, and then you can transition into doing the things that you can improve on later. Don't use this as an excuse to kind of bash your playing, otherwise you'll get super disheartened and you'll never want to pick up your bass again. I don't want that, and I'm sure you don't want that either. If you want to see exactly how I do this for myself, I've actually put together a bonus video for you where I actually go in and critique my own playing and show you how you can do the same and create that tight kind of feedback loop that you can use to rapidly improve your playing. Not only that, but you'll also get a bonus PDF checklist of all the things that you can look for to improve in your playing as well. To get it, just click the link in the description underneath this video and fill out the form on that page, and I'll send it straight to your inbox. To recap very quickly though, you learned that recording yourself and listening to the playback is one of the best ways to rapidly improve your playing because it provides a very tight feedback loop which gives you information that you can use to instantly improve your playing. You learnt the 5 elements to look for when looking at your own playing, as well as the 2 traps that you can potentially fall into when you are critiquing your own playing on a recording. And finally, you learnt to be kind to yourself as you go through and critique your playing. You learnt to focus not only on the things that need improvement, but also celebrate your achievements and what you like about your playing as well, just so you don't kind of go crazy bashing on your playing. Be sure to click the link in the description to get the bonus video and the PDF checklist. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to help out. My name's Luke McIntosh, creator of BecomeABassist.com, and I'll talk to you very, very soon.